Alright, we're rolling again. Rolling. Okay, so well, so you're starting the router. There we go. Excellent connection now. Good. Okay, so basically what I took away from this, from Killzone Kid's post here, was what he's doing is find empty position. Did not want. He's running find empty position. Type. And everything keeps pointing back to safe position. Find safe position. Kind of interconnected. But what it's doing, it's creating a XYZ array. And what he's doing, he's passing it to this, and then he's double checking that position against flat empty. I think our code is actually doing the same thing because see spawn check position is flat empty. So if we go up to spawn check position, here, it's defined right there. Spawn check position equals x axis x spawn check, axis y spawn check, and a vertical height of 0. So if we go to, so let's figure out our axis x spawn check. Basically, search for it. Here. This is going to give us our x axis that it's looking for. We still need to check is on road. Okay, so this is the only file it's called in. And this is the only line it's called in. Okay, so we know this line for sure is what's defining our x-axis. Or x-axis, and this should just return a number. What this should do is return a number. So area start. I think this is just setting up the first digit in an array, I think. Doing something. It's pulling stuff from up here. So area start and area end. A vector div. Okay, so this is how it's getting its number. Axis step. See, I don't know what in this bracket 5. This is used for the sector area as well. I wonder if this is just keeping it in the center of the sector, or this in the sector. It kind of looks like it's trying to keep it in the sector. is axis A and axis B. Those are your X and Y coordinates for the area of a sector, A and B. Or if he's just doing that. Might just be a really, really complicated way to keep things inside a sector. I think our problem might be stuff spawning on roads. Okay, let's check is on roads. Figure this out. So I think this code is only running if it's not seeing is on road as a spawn check position. I think. I don't know at this point. I'm confused. Interesting. It's changed recently. Arma 2.0. Oh, it was improved. Okay. No longer have to do the Z height. Let's check roads. I want to really not give me a vision. Palms. Okay. Okay, so this code is running if it's not a road, it's getting a spawn position. And it's setting in the final line here is returning final position. Okay. Okay, so ret, I think this is short for return, is defined as pushback final position, and if pushback final position is less than 20, then private road position array equals center, which is defining somewhere. Okay, let's go look up near roads. This is my life now, trying to decipher this code. Find road segments within a circle of a given radius. Okay, so it's basically just setting up an array of objects within radius. So player near roads 50, that would check first player for roads within 50 meters. Yep, that seems pretty straightforward. That's what this code is doing. Center, which is defined somewhere near roads, max access. Where's max access defined though? These are all numbers. So like right here, you can see position near objects, all vehicles, access step, greater than 0. So access step right here is a variable that is a number because we know all vehicles is looking for a radius. That's whatever access step is keeping it away from max spawn grid size divided by 2. This means, and max access is defined as if area. See, I still don't know what these pound marks mean in SQF. At this point, it's actually becoming a big issue. If I'm reading this right, he's defining stuff based on the size of the sector. As if he's doing that, there's no way we're ever going to. Holy crap, dude. He literally might have made this code completely unfixable. All of this max access, access step, all this, it all seems to be defined by area. Italy might have some because he's using. Okay, this is private, don't care. And this is private to this script, don't care. There is an area variable getting passed to that other sector. See, this is what I was talking about where area is defined. So A and B are the logic things from the things we were setting the other night for that other zone. And I can't change those without changing the size of the sector. What a fucking dumbass system, dude. There's literally no possible way that this system is actually this bad. That definitely seems to be where this is defined. Although this is kind of a local variable, not sure why it's getting out. But it has to be that because that other sector is calling it. Or that other script is calling it. Okay, object area. This is the second time we've seen that. We're about to go searching for that. Yep, here is it defined again. Same definition too. A and B. And just pull an A and B from the size of the sector. Holy moly, dude. Object order defense. Okay, this is just where it checks the zone. It's a private, don't care. Okay, that's where it notifies, where it changes the color of the zone. Okay, this is a private, don't care. Okay, we're back to the sector init where it's getting the wow, this object area is called literally everywhere in this. Ow. Yeah, this basically used all over this code to get areas of zones. This is absolutely tragic. So as best my understanding is right now, if it's not on a road or water and not in map array, then it's doing this check and it's not going to spawn anything within 6 meters. That's good. Problem is, I'm guessing if it returns less than 20 of those, I guess, it then rolls down to roads, and it's looking for roads to spawn stuff on. And fuck us. Because he's using all this. I legitimately have no idea what the hell's going on. Creating a road position array right here. Max access. We need to increase this max access. No. Where's center defined here? Okay, I had an entire line, but thank you. Game. I think he's just setting an array here. Change elements at a given a zero-based index array. Arrays out of bounds, it'll resize and incorporate index. Index value. The fuck? Okay, so we know center set. So center is array set index of 2. So it's XYZ. Yeah, here's literally an exact example. So array set to C. So 2 in array is 0, 1, 2. 3 values, XYZ. Okay. So center is being set to XYZ and values of 0. Then max access as private, which means it will only be called in this script because it's at the base of the script. Okay, we know this is square root, but let's just double check. I think this may be maybe the math that's constraining these stupid road positions. Yep, square root. Why on God's earth did he make such a ridiculously complicated system? Like, bruh, just spawn the vehicle within like 50 meters of the player, man. If the player walks the edge of the zone, screw it. Thing ends up outside the zone. This is ridiculous. I'm not kidding you. You could probably delete this entire thing and just say get player position, within 10 meters, and you'd get the exact same results. Probably a lot better results. Okay, so we know what this is doing. Trigger area is basically a sector. So for the sectors, I know this pound thing has something to do with arrays, so I'm assuming it's just getting array position 0 to be the x value. Axis B is taking the sector center and getting value of y. And if center is type of man, then area append xy 100 0 false. False me. I don't think it matters for whatever we're doing. And get variable object complete. Again, this is just grabbing the sector from get variable, setting that. And then it's just setting position center where it's defined up here. Center equals position center. Okay. Here, rim area, second area. Rim area, second area. Axis rim area is set to 0. Axis B is set to 0. So this is going to be the X and the Y from the game files. When rim width plus not 0, then change the value of axis rim A from 0 to axis A, which is area. Place that rim width. Name for that. Where's rim width defined? Okay. Find somewhere. Either way, it doesn't particularly matter. It's just adding it to whatever this value is, so not concerned about that. And then this is just setting up an array where it's pulling other values in. So we got center. Then an X, Y. Some kind of Z shit, I'm guessing. Then he's setting center as an array with 3 values to 0. And if it's a 4, I think a 4 is a rectangle, and rim width is greater than 0, then... Okay, this is a math I think we need to change. We need to increase these numbers. And if it's not area 4, which I mean would be an ellipse, taking... Oh, I understand why he's doing this. He's doing this to handle rectangles versus ellipses. Stupid, stupid system. And this is all to get stuff to spawn inside the little circle. God help us, man. Okay, so let me do some math here on my other computer. So let's say we have a sector that has 150 value of x. So we got axis A, power of 2. I'm just going to manually do this. Okay, so that's 22,000. Plus, we'll say the other one's 22,500 as well, plus 22,100. 1,000, then we want to square root this. Why though? Why? I want to make that number bigger. Do I want to make that number bigger? Well, this is how... So in the case I just ran for a 150 meter zone, if I'm doing this correct, it would return the max axis value of 212. Spawn grid size defined. We're getting really close to the point where I'm just going to start changing random ass numbers and see what happens. Yep. Random shit. So this number right here, spawn grid size is being divided by 2. So access step, if infantry only, which we're not infantry, we're a vehicle in this case, I think. It's going to be 5, else spawn grid size divided by 2. Is that even more, dude? Wow, constants. So this is going to increase our access step. Back to that. Okay. So changing this number right here, which we're not infantry, so this is going to define access step. Our old number was 40. Let's go back and should be down. Okay. All right, so back to access step. So we know max access for a 150 meter zone, like defined right here, is roughly 212 meters. So we have an actual hard number to work with here. An access step, if you are not infantry, you're going to skip this code block and do this else block, which is max grid size of the old system was divided by 2, so 40 divided by 2, max grid size was 20. We've now upped that to 30. And we wanted to do that because this stupid code down here, right here, is if road position array, find if, it's looking for a 2D position less than access step. That's why we wanted to increase that number. And it's also going to give us, it's going to increase this count array, going to spawn them farther away from each other. Object index. Oh, that's inside this. Okay. That's part of this if statement. Just setting an index of these objects. Then doing for each road position. Okay, so that's about the only number we can actually change here, because if we go changing these, even if I change this a little bit, because axis A to the second power, even a 150 meter zone, giving you a massive number. It's 22,500, and then you're adding it to the axis of this, and you're giving a square root is 212. And this other one I fully expect to give a similar value to. So this is about the only number I see I can change in here. My God, so convoluted to get stuff inside a zone. Just baffling. If I ever end up working on the next Warlords, I'm definitely scrapping stuff like that. I mean, it's a really smart system, but man, is it hard to adjust. Yeah, I guess if you know what's going on, it's really to adjust. I just had to spend an hour looking up all those commands. Sophia's pretty urban. Okay, that'll work.
Warlords protocol initialized. Voting for the next sector. Select sector.
Yes, I've actually had at least like 10 vehicles blow up in Sophia, so I think we were trying to capture, they had a base right here in Galoni. Called in like 10 tanks, just boom, 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 boom.
Selected.
Not very happy.
Select destination. Destination selected.
I should probably call in some infantry too. I don't think this would affect the infantry at all, but we'll call them in anyways. Okay, so let's get right in the middle of the city. I'll stand where I was standing that day. I'll blew all those tanks up.
Sector seized.
Hey,
Voting for the next sector.
can't possibly
Select
mess with me.
Sector. Sector selected.
We're gonna cheat here a little bit. We're gonna stand straight down the road. Spawn these. I need to get my. Okay, I got CP. Spawn in some metal trucks because they're big, cheap.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in
That's not good.
progress.
What happened there, dude? That was not a good first test.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Hey, dude, this city is cursed. I've lost more vehicles in Sofia than town. Okay. Definitely not spawning. In the same direction I am.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
That's not good. I see it twitching.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
What if that first one was just bad luck? Definitely didn't understand what caused that first one to explode. It was on a road, not near it.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in
Okay.
progress.
Flying off into Oblivion.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Wow, that spot's freaking cursed. Using it.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
This is what was happening to me.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Yeah, Sophia. Walk out in the field and see what happens. And keep in mind, we are testing the biggest vehicle in the game, like lengthwise. So we're gonna have the highest rates of failure here. And we're also testing the worst case scenarios right in the middle of the city. Players are probably gonna self-optimize this out a little. Well, once we get away from the city, we should. Yeah, that is
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
yep, problem.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress. Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Oh, yeah, things. Back to our field and keep calling them in.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress. Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress. Select drop zone.
Oh, no,
Airdrop in progress.
that's not. It's twitching. Go look at this one, see what happened. Think that one might have bounced off the roof of a building or something. Ah, it clipped. Okay, the reason it twitched, it clipped this fence. Well, as long as we get just a little ways outside the city. Far, far, far better success rate here. I think this one might explode. So we're running out of...
Airdrop in
Yeah,
progress.
basically what we did. So we're trying to spawn them away from each other. Basically ran out of room in our little field out here. Kind of like the aircraft carrier, we ran out of safe positions to spawn stuff.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress. Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress. Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
They're on the edge of the sector.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Another fence. Is that a fence or a building? That was a building, not the fence. And yeah, I think the problem there is it's spawning on the road and not like clearance for the spawning on the road. Stop spawning on road, fuckers. I think that's like the only safe way to do this. Just
Select drop zone.
never.
Airdrop
Oh boy,
in progress.
and now we're stuck in this. endless loop of it's gonna keep picking that spawn spot. When this system gets a spawn spot in its head,
Airdrop in progress.
what did this thing land on? On a tree? Okay, I know trees are on the blacklist. Not sure how that happened. Oh, not at my limit again. It's like this code just straight up is not working. It's picking some random place to spawn these in.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
At this point, I'm gonna say the spots aren't really random. Seem kind of.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress. Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Let's try something else. Let's go change that spawn access number to like 2. We'll just go see what happens. Maybe we're going the wrong way with this, since I don't fully understand what that ridiculously complicated code is doing. Go through constants and change this to 2. Yeah, honest, this is probably going to give us better data than staring at code we don't understand. We'll keep testing on blue for just because their helmets are bigger than the offer ones. I'd rather test with the worst case scenarios. Oh, cool. We can do Sophia again. Haha, get wrecked.
Protocol initialized. Voting for the next sector. Select sector.
Good old Sophia.
Sector selected. Select destination.
Oh, I forgot to kill everybody in the zone.
Selected.
Don't kill me all. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'll be dead now. So I think we're gonna, since we did most of our spawning out in that field down in the southwest corner, go out and do that again. Standing down there somewhere. If I'm understanding this code correct, actually we need to spawn some stuff on a road. I want to see if stuff on the road is going to spawn directly next. Because if I'm understanding that code correctly, stuff should spawn literally like right there, or like right there.
Sector seized. Voting for the next sector. Select sector.
Okay. Let's go buy some.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress. Sector selected.
Okay, it's still spotting them like 30 meters away from me.
Select drop zone.
It's also lagging hell out of the server.
Airdrop in progress.
Okay, so
Select drop
may have
zone.
made this like too restrictive. I was lagging out,
Airdrop in progress.
and it's spawning them too close to each other. Okay, so that makes sense. So that value determines how close they can spawn to each other. And since we made it so tight, it's having to do a lot of computation to figure stuff out. So by making that value bigger, we give the distance between vehicles to be bigger. Which clearly is going to lower the computational value after what we just saw. But less potential spots in the town to spawn, I guess. Which I suppose is kind of a good... She gets stuck in one of those endless loops. Okay, so that was a good test. God, I do wish the spawn code was easy to understand, though. Like, sometimes code is like too smart. Okay, so jack that back up to 60. Okay, we spawned in a ridiculous number of vehicles with this, and still not. Oh, hey, Mari's here. Let me show you some of the stupidest code on planet Earth. Okay, let me process client requests. Is process client request. Okay, here we go. So what I was doing was here, and it's going down here to where is your post right here. So we've been looking up this BIS function safe position, and I'm gonna give you like a cliff notes for the last 3 hours working. So I was trying to figure out why this wasn't used in the process client request. And if we come down, spawning vendor, Okay, yeah. Here's the infantry. Here is the vehicle spawning. Yeah, it's the sell statement. Okay, this sell statement right here is vehicle spawning. So in your suggestion, you were saying use position, and you're defining position using the bis, that bis function from Bohemia. And I was wondering why it wasn't used here. So what I did is I came up here to find where target position final is defined. And yeah, right here. Okay. So, and target position final is defined here with a custom script that Jezero wrote, which is Warlords 2 find positions. This has been the code we've been working on all night, is this find position script. So what he's doing, so the reason he didn't use the bis function find safe position, because if that check fails, it can spawn it anywhere on the map, or it'll default to 0, 0 or something. So he wrote this insane, convoluted thing where it's keeping it inside the sector. And that's where all these axes, A, B, centers are coming from. But if you come down here, so this is just defining the sector area and a bunch of other stuff, which is completely breaking everything. But down here, you can see we have a blacklist of objects. So he kind of manually went through and made a blacklist instead of find safe position. But I think he forgot something, like fences and light poles. So that's one thing. But you come down here and this if statement here, if not is on road, spawn check position, and is not on water, spawn check position, and not spawn check position inside whatever this array is. And then he's basically using this right here. This is what your code was doing, your position code from Discord. Position, and then you're defining the position as check spawns position is flat empty, and then he's using and is flat empty. I'll show you. Has the same set of arrays as bis find safe. And we go here, is flat empty. And it's basically a pseudonym function for find safe position. It's basically doing the exact same thing. You got your minimum distance mode, blah, blah, blah. It's not quite, it does the gradient checks and all that, and land, water, all that stuff. But it seems to be just an early version of find safe position. And what we were just figuring out was this can be computationally intensive, but we found a way to where it's not lagging stuff out. So we're doing the same thing here. This was the first value we changed from a 3 to a 6 because we measured the length of a supply truck and a tank, and they're both 5 meters from center to their edge, which we thought was going to stop them from clipping stuff. But stuff is still finding a way to land on buildings. But right now it seems mainly to be fences and poles. But the biggest problem is on road. If not is on road. Crap's spawning on roads and it's clipping into buildings. Which I think is this code down here. Because this code down here is setting a road position array. But the problem is all of the variables that are defined in this section of this if statement are all based off stuff defined up here, which is defined by the sector. it's in, which I can't do anything about. Like, the only value I found that I was actually able to change in this entire freaking code was Warlord's spawn grid size, which is divided by 2 when it's not infantry. So axis step is the only variable that I can actually modify, I think. So when spawning vehicles, I've tested this in game, and this value definitely affects the distance that vehicles are spawning away from each other. Because if I click on access step, come down here, road position array, it's checking this, but the thing is I don't know how to make stuff stop spawning the goddamn roads. Oh yeah, you can see here, here's the all vehicle array. I tested this in the game, I lowered the radius of the all vehicle check down to like 2 meters, basically. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. Basically, it was locking the game up and stuff was spawning almost right on top of each other. So right now we have this set to 30 meters, which is pushing vehicles away from each other, and we're hoping it's setting this 2D, this X value to be bigger. I think. I don't know. Problem is crap spawning on roads, which is what's causing it to fall into buildings. I was hoping this is empty value fix it, but it's clearly not fixing it. And this part of the code says it shouldn't be landing on walls if it's a vehicle, but it's definitely landing on walls. So I have no idea, man. I think this code is just permanently broken because it's getting all its information based on the sector instead of just spawning stuff within the position of a player. There's literally no way I could completely rewrite this. Like, this is a massive script. Because what I would have done is not write all this. I would have just basically used like code like you're doing, like find safe position within like, I don't know, 100 meters of the player. And sometimes stuff would have just spawned outside the zone, which would have been perfectly fine. But he clearly wanted things only to spawn inside the zone. Yeah, I've basically given up on that code at this point. I've adjusted some things. Hopefully mitigate the problem, but until I find a way to make things check versus buildings when they're spawning on roads, kind of screwed. Before we submit this, let's do update the version file. So long story, basically everything Warlords Redux is more complicated than it needs to be. The unfixable. I wanted to do a check to make sure it's not going to hit a freaking building. Spawning on players is so much better, but like if I show you, like I thought I had this problem fixed. Like I fixed it with airplanes and helicopters. So what I do with airplanes and helicopters, oh, wait a second. We might just be able to copy this code and maybe overwrite. Yeah, holy crap. Why didn't I think of this? I could just completely bypass that stupid script by doing what I did with airplanes and helicopters. So airplanes and helicopters, what I did, I just did get the position of the sender. And then yeah, then I use that as a position. Holy crap. You know what? I bet if we just copy and paste this into the vehicle code. Problem is stuff's gonna start blowing up. So this code, the flaw in this code is because I needed stuff to spawn on top of the carrier. So I was getting position ATL of the player. And then what I was doing to compensate for the lag on the because when you spawn these at 0 using this get position ATL, if you spawn them at 0 z-axis above the player, they always explode. And at half a meter on the dedicated server, they still explode a bunch of times. So I put them at 0.7 meters above the player. To compensate for lag. But they sometimes land a little bit damaged. But you know what? That might be better than stupid target position variable. It's going to completely get rid of all those. And the check now is going to be on the player instead of this horribly complicated Redux code. And I think I might have a solution for this too. Like asset, I'm going to try to turn the asset invincible at the start of this code block. And then after it lands, make the asset not invincible. That was also on our to-do list tonight. Yeah, let's see if this works. This has now completely removed that retarded find spawn position script from blowing our vehicles up. Problem is now they're going to land with a big thump. Hopefully they don't. I forgot to load the mission. Especially in single player, 0.7 meters on single player is really high in the air. Like, because there's no lag to deal with. We got to do blue 4 because we want medical trucks.
Warlords Protocol initialized. Voting for the next sector.
But yeah, if I didn't say thanks, like your post on Discord is what kind of got me started going down this road tonight. Because I was planning on working on vehicle spawning tonight, so
Select sector.
it pointed me in the right direction, which led me down this massive rabbit hole in that horrible, horrible script. We've been doing all our tests in Sophia because we've been getting lucky on Sophia spawns, so we're going to keep doing that. Yep, 50,000 CP. And all the AI should be dead.
Select destination. Destination selected.
Oh my god, if this code actually works just like it does for airplanes and helicopters, I'm gonna be so freaking happy. Because it's so much better to put the weight of the spawn position on the player instead of the... Oh, but what if they are outside of the zone? No, the zone checks are still going to be there. We know that from airplanes. We couldn't spawn airplanes outside of an airplane zone. We're going to have to test that. We're going to have to walk outside the zone, see if we can still spawn stuff. That's going to be a catastrophic issue. If we could do that. Okay, we're going to go back to the cursed spot. We found a spot that always blows vehicles up in Sophia, right here. So if the vehicles can survive that cursed spot, then they will survive anywhere.
Sector seized. Voting for the next sector. Select sector.
By the way, if you haven't seen them before, these are the new anti-capping sectors. Got one out on the AAC island and one out here on the Molos spawn spot.
Sector select.
Or the Molos camp spots. Sitting on these beach camp Molos. I haven't seen anybody Redux camp in Molos, but I know it's a thing in default, so I figured I'd put a zone up there. What people really wanted was this zone out here on AAC Island. Okay, so this is the cursed spot. The old system used to spawn a vehicle right there, that stupid light pole, and that building right down the street with the balconies on it. That was causing us problems too. Medicals.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Holy moly, it spawns on my position.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
We just fixed vehicle spawning but get rid of Jezreel's code? Might have.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Wow, that was a stupid leap. I know, kidding. I've spent hours last tonight on that retarded code. And all I had to do was remove it. Redux, why do you do this to me? Okay, let's go out of the side of the zone and let's make sure. I think the check for whether you're in the zone or out of the zone and can purchase stuff is completely separate. So what happens if you buy a bunch of things though?
Select drop zone. Airdrop in
Oh,
progress.
they spawned a nice little pretty circle around you. That's so cute. None of them blew up. Wonder if tanks will blow up if you spawn too many around you. Let's spawn in a bunch of tanks. Actually, spawn in something bigger. Medical trucks are the biggest item in the game, I think, so.
Select drop zone.
I fully expect these to blow up. Kill me.
Progress.
That is definitely what happens. At least I wasn't surprised. I knew spawning that many vehicles that big next to me was gonna kill me. Yeah, it was science. Okay, so let's just walk out of the zone and make sure vehicles cannot spawn outside of a zone. Unfortunately, my hopes are really low on this, even though I'm pretty sure the check for whether you can spawn a zone is done in a different script. If it is, or is not, this is bad. Don't let me buy a vehicle. Mortars last night, I could not buy mortars outside of a zone.
Select drop zone. Action cancelled.
What? Okay.
Select drop zone. Airdrop in progress.
Shit. Oh, back to square one. That's why you can't do that. So that means we have a major bug on our hands here. We have a really, really, really big bug on our hands.
Select destination. Destination selected.
This is really bad because if vehicles are spawning like that, that means aircraft and helicopters are spawning like that too. Aircraft I'm less worried about.
Sector seized. Voting for the next sector. Select sector.
Helicopters are probably a really big problem though.
Sector selected.
Yeah, this is bad. So this is why there was all that like basically dumb code. If I have to revert all the spawn code, I'm done with this project, dude. Like, I'm literally completely, utterly done, dude. Like, I'll revert all the code back to its original state. But,
Select destination.
this is
Destination
beyond
selected.
bad. Oh, hey, that Gorgon has the different camo on it. That's cool. Oh, yeah, it has the RPG cage and everything on it too.
Sector seized. Voting for the next sector. Select sector.
Let's just pick some random zone.
Select destination.
So this
Destination
helicopter is going to
selected.
spawn directly on top of us.
Sector selected.
Fuck it. Spawn a,
Select sector.
How do we spawn any item anywhere on the map? Oh, I bet I can spawn a jet right here too.
Select sector.
Yep. Well, this is literally the end of Redux, dude. So we have to go through and completely revert all the spawn code changes we've made in like the last 6 months. Holy shit. Needs more people haven't figured this bug out. Somebody at this point would have accidentally spawned something in like on spawn or something. Okay, fuck us. This literally might be the end of Redux, dude. Like, if I can't get the spawn system working, and that the default Redux code is completely broken for spawning. Ooh, fuck. I think I'm gonna stop the stream, dude. Like, yeah. Uh, I'll discuss this with Game Dad over the next day, and hopefully not that many other people figure this bug out in the meantime. But I literally don't even want to like. It's already on stream, so literally dozens of people are gonna know how to do this now. Which means we're gonna probably end up having to do like emergency revert. And if we have to revert the spawn code, then working on Redux is completely pointless because like the spawn code is literally just broken by default. So, okay, cool. Well, that literally might be the end of Redux. So, well, I might be back Friday, but if I have to make any emergency changes and rollbacks, I'll probably do it off stream. So, cool. Maybe see you guys Friday if the project's not completely dead, but Redux might be dead. So, see ya.